Sure, I'm gonna give you co-host. Watch the buttons for me. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and we are going to go over Google Docs. Now, one of the things I want you guys to know is if you are using Google, okay, and all of us should have a Google account. Up in the upper right-hand corner beside your avatar, you have these 9 dots, okay? So these 9 dots are literally apps that you have for Google, okay? Now, one of the things that you can do is set up a Google business on here, whether you have Google AdSense or not. You can set up your Google business here, and it's related to your website. That is something I suggest no one does until they are ready to apply for Google AdSense or they have their website complete and you've applied before and just haven't gotten approved yet. But this is something you do later in the game after you are aware of how you set up your website, that it's good to go, and that you're confident in its ability to be marketable. Okay. The other thing you want to be aware of is your Google Drive. This is where you're going to have your Google Docs is set up in your Google Drive. Also, this is the same app that you will look for on your phone. So if you have an Apple phone, it's gonna be in your Apple Store. If you have or in your iTunes Store or your Apple Store, if you have the other phone, it's going to be on what's it called?
Play Store.
Yeah, your play thing, whatever that's called. Yeah. That's the other phone. So I have an iPhone, so mine's in my app store. I just go and look for this symbol. You can actually type it in the search in your app store and say Google Drive. And you need to make sure you have this symbol, and then you need to log in with the same credentials that your Gmail account is with. That way they sync. Okay. You can also do photos here. Gemini is the AI program for Google. So as we have Chat GPT that I use and have trained pretty well, you also have Gemini is the same way. It's a free program. And then if you go down, you see your apps. You can do all this stuff. You can actually have a blogger where you can create a blogging account. I haven't messed with any of that. I ain't got time for it. Your Google Sheets is also included in your Google Drive. When we go in there, I'll show you how to do that. But if you just want to create a Google Sheet, you can do that as well here. And then once you get Google AdSense, you can go in and create Google Ads in there. Remember, when you do Google Ads, once you get Google AdSense, please be cautious of doing this because it's a paid program. You pay per click or you set up a certain amount of money for them to use for ads. And once that money's gone, it's gone. So, but you have to be aware of that. If you are using marketing and you want to use a telephone number outside of your own, then this is where you go to get Google Voice. Okay. Again, these are free. You can go in and set up a free account. Just remember that Google Voice is very strict on using it for just marketing or advertising. So this is a phone number that you have to literally keep up with. You have to use it periodically for things outside of marketing and just sending text messages. So you need to call, you need to use it for either personal phone calls. You don't need to just text, you actually need to call. So if you're texting people from the CRM, if you're working the V marketing through there and you want to use Google Voice and you haven't played for the PBS Vortex and you have Google Voice, you have to use it for calling. So you can't just text message or they will shut you down. Okay. I've had my Google Voice phone number since the beginning. I've not lost it. So I've had it forever. Please mute yourself, guys, so I don't get any bleeding in on here. So there's all kind of things that you can go in here and look through and find. So one of the things we're going to do is just go ahead and open up our Google Drive. All right. So as you can see, my Google Drive is set up for just about everything I have here. I can come here and I have my backup. I got my stuff for brain food. I got my ad templates. And this is one of the things, guys, that you want to be very familiar with, because this is where you're going to be using it. Shar saw me use it when anytime we go on trips, if we go on functions and she drives, if we're close to Florida and I'm staying with her, she drives, and I'm usually sitting in the passenger seat doing ads from pulling up my Google Drive, and sending them out to various places. So this is a good thing. That's why I said you want it on your phone as well as everywhere else that you have it. So I'm going to show you how I use mine. So as you can see, I have all of my labels. Now my labels, number one, is also corresponding with my, what do you call them? My index on my website. So when you come to my website and you see my index, I also have these same titles listed here, but I also have other titles listed. So when I create pages, I, number one, have it in my backup. So with my backup, it's also in there. But then when I come in and do ads, I create these ads listed based on what those titles are. So if I'm doing something for Bella Vita, I put it under there. I also have EMF protection. Holiday ads, when I go to holiday ads, I've set up the different holidays. So I have Christmas, New Year's, Easter, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Valentine's, Mother's Day. So I can also come in here and create another ad for Father's Day. I can put that in there. I can do 4th of July ads, and just create a folder. So whenever you are doing and creating your ads, you want to make sure that you come in and you create that information. So one of the things I'm going to come here is go to add templates, and you set this up. What you're going to do is just come to your home page, and right here where it says new, you're just going to say create a folder. Okay. And when it creates a folder, it just creates one folder. So we're going to start out brand new. Just going to say create a folder. You have a title, and I'm just going to say this, its title is test ads template, or training ads template. Okay. We're going to say training, so I know what it is. And then create. Okay. And it's going to show here that it's a training ads template. Now, once you create this folder, then you can come in here and create multiple folders that you're going to be using. So if you're creating that, and you can come in here and label this, we're calling it the training ads template, or we could just say the training template. And in here, if you wanted to create another folder inside this folder, you can put PBS backup, create. And then whenever you create a page, you're going to come in here and open this up and type in, you can do a new folder, and whatever it's going to be, say it's Bella Vita. Create. So then whenever you create anything that's related to Bella Vita, or you can say health and fitness or health and wellness, then you will open this up and come to new and create a Google Doc. And I always do Google Docs, and then you will give it a title. And you can say brain food, not brain food, brain. Okay. And then this is where you're going to come in here and say create add template. No, this is actually your backup. So this is going to be the backup page. And this is what I put in here. I put my title. Okay. I also put in my slug, my key phrase, meta description, and I put published date. And people ask me, why do I put the publish date? Because for whatever reason, God forbid, your site gets hacked. And Matt has to go in and literally clear everything out. And then you need to come to your backup and you need to put in your pages again. Well, it's going to ask you for all of that. As soon as you go in and add a new page, it puts that current date. So, but you want your site to have longevity. So if he doesn't change your site URL, he just wipes it clean and you start fresh, then you want to make sure you put that same information in there because you have ads out there with that publish date. So if they come back and they look for that date, especially when you try to get Google AdSense and they can't find pages with that date, everything's current, you may not get Google AdSense because they're going to say your site is too new, even though you might have had it a couple of years or 6 months or whatever. So you want to make sure you have that original publish date so that when you go and copy over the material, you put your original publish date so it shows longevity. However, if you get a brand new site, you can't do that. So if they change your URL, then you have to put in the current date that you are actually posting that in there. Most of the time, Matt can save the URL, but sometimes he can't. So if he comes back, say, if your site got wiped or you had a glitch in it and he had to clean it out and it gives you the same URL, then that publish date becomes very, very important. Okay. I know Roy doesn't put his publish date. I do. And then you also want to come in here and you want to convert your pages. So when you go to, we're going to do this home page, come down here. We're going to edit this page. So when you copy over a page, come on, think. You want to come up here to these three dots in your site, and you want to go to where it says code editor. You always want to put your site in code. Now, it doesn't code your title, so you have to copy your title. Okay, copy your title. And you're going to, and this isn't brain. Anyway, I'm just going to use this for an example. Paste your title in there. You're going to go back to your site. You're going to come down to the bottom. All right. And you're going to get your slug. I'm going to copy that. And sometimes your slug and your key phrase is the same. Sometimes it's not. Mine is. Paste. You're going to get your meta description, and your meta description is the description of your site. It's just a couple of sentences that explains what your page is about. Okay. And then you're going to get your publish date. So you're going to come back over here and you're going to get your publish date. So it says I published this March the 16th, 2024, which I know that is not set. That is not correct. So we're going to come here to where it says published. I'm going to go down to where it says revisions. And my original date of this, well, it depends on which one it is. So 11 months ago. So January 31st is when it says I originally did this, which I know is not correct. But that's okay. We can put that in there. So my date here, and we can come and let's view this. And we're going to go.
Jump in, please. Can you go back? I didn't see a date. This is Phyllis.
Okay. Yes. So I'm going to come back here and switch to visual editor.
Okay.
So right here where it says published,
Mm-hmm.
it says March the 16th, 2024 is when it says it was originally published, which I know it wasn't.
Right. So you went down to revision.
Yep. So you go down to revisions and click this. And this is your timeline. So this shows you
Okay.
all the times you actually revised or went into this page and changed anything. So this actually could be when I went in and remodified this page and updated it. But I know it was more than a year ago.
Okay. Thank you.
So, but that's where you can go and see, and then you just want to go back to your editor. And sometimes down at the bottom of your page, when you are actually in the view section, you can see the actual date that it was done when you are in view post. So this is what it looks like when somebody is shopping your site on the computer. Now, if they are on it through a mobile device, it will look a little different. Okay, so again, it shows that it was posted on. So I'm going to put that date. I'm just going to go ahead and I do the time and everything, copy, and I'm going to come back up here and post that. All right, and then I'm going to come in here and put content. I don't like that color. So then I'm going to come here and put content, and then I'm going to come back to my page and go back. I don't need this anymore. Go back to those three dots, go back to code editor, and then I'm literally just going to put my cursor at the beginning of this sign and do Control A and then Control C to copy. Come here to my page and go Control V to paste, and it puts it in code. And the reason you want to put it in code is if you try to copy it and not encode in visual, you have to copy each section. If you do it in code, you can copy the code. Plus, if you have any links in there, it copies the links. However, it copies the link for your images as well. But when you get a brand new site and you copy this information in there, your images will come up blank. Why? Because they are no longer in your image library. You have to go back and retrieve those images. So you want to make sure you have a folder where you have kept all your images so that you can import them back in. Sometimes it's better to just add new images to make your site look refreshed and keep your information available. Sometimes your links will be gone, but when you go to copy this page back in, you would do the same thing. You would just have a new page. You will go to code editor for the page, copy this information in, then switch it to visual. And then you will see all the blanks where pictures are supposed to be. And then you can delete those images and add new images in. So this is how you do your backup. So when you are creating new pages, you want to create your page, copy, do your backup. Then you can literally go to the same information where it says training templates, because this is our PBS backup. Create a new folder, and you're going to go to add templates. You're going to name this folder add templates, not at template. Create. And you're going to literally do the same thing. Open that up, go to new, create a folder, and name this folder. You're going to say brain ads and create. And then you're going to open that folder. You're going to come here and open up a Google Doc. I do Google Docs. Roy does Sheets when he does tracking. I don't track my ads. I just don't have time to do it. It's just, I don't. If you are that meticulous, then yes, go ahead and create a spreadsheet so you can put the title of your ad, where you posted it, when you posted it, where you know, if you want to do that. I just don't have time for it. So this is again where you're going to come in here and do brain ads. And you're literally going to come here and do brain ads. and you're going to have your title and then description. And you can have, as many titles as you want, as many descriptions as you want. I always tell everybody you need at least 5 of each. Have 5 ads, title ads, and at least 5 descriptions, or you can have 10, as many as you want. That's where ChatGPT and Gemini come in real handy of creating ads. And you just post them here. And then whenever you get ready to advertise and say you're out and about, you literally um, pull up your phone and pull up your Google Drive, and you're going to copy your ad. Now, if you like me, sometimes I put them together. If I know that's what I'm going to do, I'll put the ad and the title and the ad all together. So I'm literally just copying one and pasting it, especially if it's for social media. But you can do it how you want to. You just have to be very patient in social media. Again, it just depends on how you want to do it. You can actually do ad 1, ad 2, ad 3, and have the title and the ad in one place. It's however you want to set it up that's going to be convenient for you when you are doing marketing. Okay. And that's basically how you do it. It all boils down to creating your folder, which you have your main folder, and then within that folder, creating folders so that you have everything in one place. It's very organized, and you're not searching all over the place trying to figure out what you're doing and where you're doing it. Okay. Um, so that's how you use Google Drive. It's very basic, very simple. Yes, go ahead, Miss Phyllis.
Sorry, I was trying to come off of mute.
Okay.
So I have to repeat back what I'm saying to make sure I understand.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're doing, we're saving one in code, and then we're saving one that we literally wrote out in case something happens to our websites.
No, the one in code is the same is all you need. You don't need to copy it outside of code.
Okay. So
Yep.
then why did you do a separate one and call it ads?
This is where we're going to do our ads. So you need 2 different folders, one for your PBS backup. That's
Okay.
where you are copying your pages in code and
Okay.
putting it here in case something happens.
Right.
Now, when you finish creating a page and you're ready to advertise, like we talked about, this
Mm-hmm.
is where you want to create a separate folder for ads. And then within that folder, you're going to create different folders based on what you're advertising. So, say we want to do one for brain. So let's go here and we're going to pull up, where's our chat GPT? Let's pull up chat GPT. And I want to tell it, hey, I want to create 5 new ads. Okay. So we're going to
Okay.
come here and say good. And I always talk to it. And I talk to it just like I'm talking to a code person. Um, so now it's asking me for different things. Who's my target audience, specific benefits. So I'm going to talk up. It is organic. Where's my pen? I ain't got my. Okay. So I gave it very detailed, and that's when you use these things, you want it to be very detailed, so that it can very specifically give you exactly what you want. So here's my ad headline: Stay sharp and slim this holiday season. Tired of feeling sluggish during the holidays? Our organic gel pack is your ultimate companion for weight loss, energy boost, enhancement, or acuity. Call to action. So what it says, it even gives you a call to action. All right. And this is just one. So I'm going to say, perfect. Can you give me 10 more similar with various emphasis on the overweight individual, for the working mom, the college student, and athlete, the busy executive, as well as the stay-at-home mom and dad. Okay. So now it's going to pinpoint exactly what I asked it to give me. So this is for overweight individuals, the working mom, college student, athlete, busy executives, stay-at-home parent. So I asked for 10, general audience. So it's going to come up with other things because I asked for 10. Fitness enthusiast. See, I hadn't even thought about the fitness enthusiast. So now it says, do I want to tweak it? So I'm going to say yes, tweak each one above for all social media outlets, please. So now it's literally going to transfer all those ads up above for my social media platforms, including hashtags, and it's telling me where I can post it. It has the exact same word count that it needs. It doesn't go over the word count. So it literally is doing the work for me. And it's even telling me visuals. So when you go and copy this over to our ad template, you want to be cognizant of what it says to do as a visual. So the visual means a picture or a video. So it's literally doing the work for you. So it's saying right here, visual. This is for dads, stay-at-home dads. Dad assembling a toy with holiday lights in the background, looking energized and focused. Same thing with videos. Mom baking cookies with her kids, gel pack visible on the counter. Text overlay and mom's strength made easy. That's amazing. So this will be like a meme. This would be the picture. You'd make sure that you had your Bella Vita brain product in the background somewhere where they can see that, hey, this is what she's using to get through the day. Here's one for LinkedIn. A busy business professional walking into a meeting with coffee in one hand and a gel pack in the other. Your holiday power up. So you could actually use these as another tag or headline to actually go in for another ad. So again, these are just different things. You can create a meme in Canva with this, your holiday power up, and go in there and play with Canva. And actually, I've done it before. Find this picture of somebody walking in holding coffee and literally insert a box of brain somewhere in there that they can use, or a packet. It's easy to do. We'll do that on another call. But once you get all this done, you have two options you can do. Once you have it broken down, you can actually copy these ads individually, okay? Or you can, which is usually what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here and grab this, copy, and then come here to my ads. And instead of having title and description, I'm going to put ads. I already got ads. I'm going to make this bigger, change the color. I like purple. Some people, I don't want a different, I want a bright purple. All right, and then I'm going to come here, make this back smaller, and then I'm literally going to paste that. So now here's my headline. It's already given me everything, my headline, my body, my call to action. So this is one. So then I can come back in here and do the same thing. Let's copy these other ones. And I'm going to come all the way down for 9 and 10. Copy, come back to my ads and paste those in here. So now I have each one of these. So these are the individual ads I want to go to. Now, if I want to break it down even more, once I come in here, I can go and say Facebook. Let's come down and do Facebook. And I can come back here and copy the ones for Facebook. So it says Instagram and Facebook, and copy each individual one. So I know when I'm going to Facebook or Instagram, these are the ones I need to use. If I'm going to TikTok, this is what I need to say on TikTok. And this says videos. Now you can also do images with wording on TikTok. You can make videos on Canva using for TikTok, using just images and let them cycle through. There's a lot of free videos on Canva that you can use and insert things in there. So we will work on some of that in the coming weeks. But you can, like I said, you can come through here and copy each one and say, all right, let's go and do this one. It's for overweight individuals, and this is for copy for Facebook. And we're going to come back here and it says Facebook. So let's get this bigger. Come back here. And we're going to paste that in there. Now, one thing you want to make sure that you do is when you go back and do it for TikTok, you have to copy this again. So you need to copy for overweight individuals. Okay, so you're going to copy, and you have to make sure that you put that title in there so you know what it's for, and then you're going to come and get your TikTok, what it says you need for TikTok. Here's your title, Shed the Pounds, Not the Fun. All right, and you're going to put that in here. Oh, it copied all of it. I didn't want it to do that. So here's your undo. So I want to go there and do undo. So I'm going to come to Chat GPT, and I just want to copy this right here. And then come back here and paste that there. So there's that. And you can highlight the title. That's the thing. Once you get in here, you can highlight what you want to use as your title for your TikTok, because you already said that this is going to be TikTok. You're going to bold it and make it bigger. And you're just going to do that. You're going to come back through and you have the one for Facebook. Let's get this back up here a little bit. And you're just going to come and do the second one for Facebook. Put another title space down here. Come back here, do number 2. Make sure, you know, and just copy it. And then when you get ready to go and do your advertising on your social media, you have everything right here. All you have to do is literally copy and paste, do a little bit of playing around. You don't want to put this in there. You don't want to put post text. You just want to put your title here, and use these little images that they have. Some advertising sites won't allow you, but if it does, use them. The good thing about when you're creating these ads, you can use these ads anywhere, even though we are creating them for social media platforms. When you go on standardized advertising sites, you can also use these same ads. The only difference is you need to put your links. So at the very top of your brand ads, where it says brain, you're going to put links, page links. And this is where you're going to put the links for your pages that you have created, because every ad site, you're going to use your page, your direct page link, not your direct link for the outside company. You always want it to go to your website. Okay, so I don't want this that big. And then when you come here, like I said, you're going to put your brain pages, however many pages you got that market brain. And you want to do this for each one. So once you get all that done, you put your page links. And if you don't know, just go back to your site. Use your own site. Come back here. Go to your visit site and type in brain. I don't use brain, but in my pages, I'm going to put weight loss and see everything that comes up under weight loss. So and this isn't necessarily brain, but it does have some information. This is actually my plus, but it has other stuff in there. I'm actually going to be marketing this because it actually has keto. For those that like keto, I created a 7-day keto plan that actually shows them how they can lose weight with keto. I got to come in here and change some of this stuff. But this is how it works. Thermogenic weight loss. Again, this is all my plus. So let's go back here and change let's do focus. All right, so this is some of my cooking stuff, which y'all know I love to cook. This is one page I'm going to hate to lose, so I'm not going to lose it. This is Brain Food Academy. Oh my goodness, I got to go through there and find some stuff. Yeah. I did all kind of pages in here. I got to. Okay, here's one. This is gut health, but I can still use it. We're just going to use this for an example. So I'm just going to use my own page, copy this link, and come back to my ad sites, and I'm going to put that link in here. I don't want it that big. So now whenever I go to do advertising, any of the links that I put in here will work with any of these ads. Okay, so even if I use the gut health, it still will work with these ads because all of my pages cross market with the other products. So they can come in here and read. So I can put all of my Velveeta products here and this will work. I just need to make sure when I do it, I put the right ones together. So I don't want to put one that's talking about health and energy with one that's specifically just for Sling, because that's for sleep. They're not getting energy from sleep, okay? But I can have a page that talks about brain and Sling, but brain will be the first topic. So again, this is how you want to make sure that you are advertising. Then when you are out and about, stuck in traffic, sitting at, a party somewhere and you got some downtime, you're trying to get away, this is where you pull up your Google Drive, pull up your social media, pull up an ad site, and literally use this to copy and paste and actually do work without having to do anything. This is where the copy and paste aspect of our business is. And it's just very simple. Let Gemini or ChatGPT or any other AI program create the ad for you. You don't have to modify it. You can use it as is and create as many of them as you want. You just have to train your AI program to talk and think like you. So when you ask it to create those ads. Be very detailed in what you want it to say. Answer those questions when it asks you, who's your target audience? Any specific features. Put that in there. A lot of people say, well, that's just too much. No, it's not. If you are just starting using the AI programs, you have to literally train it to think and talk like you. So get very detailed. The more detailed you give details you give it, the better marketing it will give you. You can actually tell it to include specific. So I'm going to come down here and actually tell it, can you generate ads for specific targeted areas in the country or world who are suffering from obesity, weight loss issues, as well as needing energy and focus. So I'm asking it the pinpoint locations in countries and around the world who suffer from obesity, weight loss issues, as well as need energy and focus, and where those cities and states are and countries. And see what it says, what it's going to give me. So now it's giving me data. It's giving me data. States like Mississippi, Louisiana, West Virginia, Alabama have obesity rates exceeding 35%, as per the CDC's 2024 data. Add copy. Midwestern states, urban states, global, and then it gives me this. And so now I can ask it, create ads, 10 ads related to the above information, please, for social media outlets. So now it's creating me ads that are targeting these places with the issues that I asked. And if we can market in these countries with the Velveeta products, this is where we want to post them. So even though I said do social media, that doesn't mean I just post it to social media. These are ads that I can post anywhere. It includes hashtags. It gives me the visual. So I have created a marketing campaign for a specific targeted market in an area that I know needs what our product has. Okay, so it says United Kingdom. So I can post all over in the United Kingdom, but if I want to target a specific location, it says London. So I can do United Kingdom, and then I can go back and post this in London specifically. So just because you target market in a state doesn't mean it's necessarily going to get to the place you want it to go. So do the whole state, but then go back and do every place within that state that you have access to market to, so that you can make sure that you cover everything. Okay, like Kuwait, I don't know if we can market in Kuwait. I have to look and see. But again, these are places that's based on the 2024 CDC has issues that our product can help with. Okay. So again, this is how you use it. You can copy these literally verbatim, put them where you want to in your ad, so that when you are ready to market, You are not trying to think of an ad. You've already done the work. So when I've told you before, you set down a time to create your ads, and then you set a separate time to actually work those ads. Don't sit down and say, okay, I'm creating, I'm going to be advertising, and you set 30 minutes and then you spend 25 minutes literally creating ads, and then you like, oh, darn, I only got 5 minutes to post. Still, that's helped, but it's not making very good value of your time. So make sure that when you are setting down to advertise, you are literally setting two times: one, to create the ads, and two, to post the ads. That way you have optimal time, and set a timer, because sometimes I'll forget and I'll play on this thing all day long creating. And then it's like, darn it, I've used all my time. I actually went into my other time. So set a timer. So when it goes off, quit. All right, go use potty break, get something else, and then come back if that's when you set up for advertising, and advertise. Don't let them overlap, because then you'll be behind on everything. Okay, so that's how I use my my Google Drive. And like I said, if y'all see how mine is, I literally have um, templates for everything. I literally have templates for anything I can think of. I put a title, and then every ad is related to that title. So if I come here and do, let's see, right here, my nootropics. So this is what I have for Velveeta. So I have my brain. I actually created a business proposal that I put in here. And we're going to be testing this out on some things. Me and somebody else asked me to create this, and they want to use it for some testing. So I'm going to be giving it to them to go and do some testing with. So this is literally a business ad, a proposal that I've created. I actually created a page for it, and I list that page in business ads for people that are looking for an online business. This is what I give them. All right, so here's everything that's there: the proposal, the cost to the customer, the referral program. I'm going to go back in and update it, because there's some things that has changed since then. So I'll be going in and adding to this and updating it on my page. But if you wanted to go back and look at my different programs, so I have Plus. So here's my Plus. So when you come to my Plus ads, I have my links. So here's the links that I use. Here's videos that I have that I've created. I've also found a Spanish video for Plus on the Velveeta site that I copied. And then here's the ads that I use. And all I do is literally just copy that. Here's my links, and I change these out accordingly. So again, here's the other link. And some of them I put the links in, some of them I don't. Again, I can interchange these links with any of the links that are up here. So that's one of the things you want to do. If you have a video, you can come in here and put video and have the links. Some of the advertising sites allows you to put a video. Most of them want a YouTube video. Some of them allow you to use Vimeo. So it just depends. If you have one or the other, make sure that you have both of them just in case. Most of the videos you're going to make on your own. That's what I always tell everybody. If you can, use and make your own video, use your own camera, upload it to YouTube, and then grab the video link from there and use that. Or create something on Canva in a video format, still upload it to YouTube. If you don't have a YouTube site, get one. We'll be working on that as well, so we can show you guys how to market with YouTube. So that's how you can use Google Docs. So I'm going to stop my share and see. All right, go ahead, Miss Phyllis.
Okay, I kind of brought this up when you and I were in our training, Miss Sheila.
Mm-hmm.
How do you avoid getting kicked off, let's say, Facebook? Like you were just showing how you created this ad using AI, which I'm comfortable with. I use
Mhm.
AI quite a bit on my day job.
Uh-huh.
However, I tried advertising on Facebook and they shut my page down. How do we avoid that?
Okay, what did your ad say? Because Facebook, here's Facebook, here's what Facebook does. Because I had one thing that I put up, and it wasn't necessarily ad, it was my weight loss journey, and they took it down because they said I was offending other people that were struggling with weight loss. So there are things that Facebook just censors. So when you are creating an ad, you can't make promises that are not backed up medically for everybody. And then also it has to be age appropriate so that anybody that sees it can benefit from it. You also want to make sure that you are not stating your opinion as fact that they can't go back and find. Also, when you use the AI, have it specifically for that marketing platform
Okay.
because they know
That
all
I
those
didn't
rules and
do.
regulations.
Okay. I think I said something along the lines of view my website and I pointed out a few products.
Yeah. So what you want to do, and this is the other thing about Facebook. The other programs don't necessarily have issues with this, but Facebook does. When you are marketing on Facebook, you only want to talk about your personal journey again. And then if you are talking about like the stuff that we have, that's the one place where you want to put detailed information that is backed by scientific finds that they can look at. Um, and then in your comments is where you're going to put your links and actual, information like that. Never put a link in your actual initial ad or initial comments when you are creating. The links always go in your comments. So when you
Okay,
are
thank you.
creating, so when you are creating a Facebook, talk about what you want to talk about and then say see comments for link and then post your Facebook. I can't even think of what it's called. Um, do your Facebook post, and then after it posts, come back into your own post that you just did, go to your comments, and then say, here's the link to view more or read about. Never put your link, your direct link, or any link in your actual post. It should always be in your comments. You also don't want to crowd your Facebook post with lots of pictures. You want to make sure it's here's the way Facebook views images. Videos get higher views, gets placed first, pictures or picture, and then non-picture or video. Um, yeah, or add the link to your images. So that's the one thing you want to be able to do is always, if at all possible, add a video with your post, but don't bombard it with pictures, especially if it's an ad, if you are looking at it as an ad, and don't always word it as an ad. Facebook is literally a social media platform, so you want to make sure that you have a personal experience when you are writing these things, that it doesn't sound adsy or salesy, or they will definitely take it off. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. All right, now we're going to go to no. So we are going to do a share, and Riley's just getting started. So for those of you that can see, this is his site. And one of the things that I really want him to go into is where he got this title and what it means. I've tried to find in here what it means. Um, I see what you understanding everything, but I really want you to create a page if you haven't gotten one of what this means to you and to your visitors. This is perfect. The other thing is this here's really short. You want to make sure all of your pages are a minimum of 350 words, but I would prefer, Google AdSense prefers 500 if you can. Um, Google says if you can't talk about a product or talk about an interesting topic in X amount of words, then it's not relevant. So those are the things you want to be aware of. Okay. Um, again, Roy doesn't talk too much about images. I like, if my page is 500 words, I want at least 2 images. If I change information, I want an image that relates to that information. So you're talking about a journey here, and then you talk about information and access, pay it forward to a community. But I would actually put an image somewhere in here. This is a lot of writing for people to get swayed by. Okay, they will lose interest. Remember, um, I know with me in my background, I tend to write above average for most people. Coming into the PBS, it was hard for me to literally write in a way that will attract everybody. So the best way that I can say to write your websites is to write it between a 5th and 8th grade level, meaning short, concise sentences, not very long words, and lots of information, and not too much information, but think short paragraphs with images that transcend one topic to another. Okay, so if you have between 500 to 700 words, you need at least 2 to 3 pictures or a video and a picture. Okay, the other thing you want to be aware of is you don't want to have a picture album either for your pages. You don't want to picture every paragraph. That's too much. You also, even though this is your contact page, have this contact information here. So it should go to your contact us. Again, have this information there. Okay, you got your Instagram, TikTok, perfect. Again, you say, why this? But again, I don't see what that means. So we need to make sure. The other thing is you see how you have different text size? Google doesn't like that. So you want to make sure you go back and make sure your text is all the same, unless it's a title or category. Okay. Let's see. For those of you, get back on your blockchain and Bitcoin, because I've heard through the grapevine this new upcoming 4 years may be interesting for blockchain. Char, you got any input on that?
Oh, you betcha. Yes, ma'am. I've been in it for a while. XRP and XLM. XRP is gold backed, and a lot of countries are accepting that for exchanges now. So even Amazon has hopped on board. So XRP is gold backed. XLM is on the XRP blockchain, but it is silver backed. So I'm only sticking with gold backed and silver backed cryptocurrencies. Those are the only two I'm investing in. And I think we're safe doing that. And I'm only doing a few, not that much. Every so often I have a little bit more money. I'll buy it when it comes down low because it's going to skyrocket. They say it may go to 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got in for 10 cents, it's going to be really good. So that's
Yep.
my input.
Yeah. So Riley, those are the things that I see, and it's throughout your site. We want to make sure that you get that. The other thing, and this is for everybody, you want to make sure that your drop downs are consistent. Okay. So you have like 3 here, and then you got 4 here. I don't consider an all things page a drop down for the simple fact it's a duplicate of your category. If you do not have Google AdSense, your all things page cannot be exactly like your category page. It has to be different a little bit. Okay. It cannot be exact. So if they are completely the same, meaning you have the same pictures in the same place, you got the same wording, you have to change it because Google AdSense, even though it's your own creative writing, they do not want the same page, exact duplicate page in the same website. Okay. It has to be different. Once you get Google AdSense, they give you a little bit of leeway, but even then, I don't have the same thing on my pages. I don't even have the all things page in all of my categories. I'm just lazy that way. I just didn't. It's just not something I didn't do. But if you have the all things page and you only have 2 here, either create another one or make sure that this one's different somehow. You don't want a whole bunch like this one, you have only 2. So this needs to be consistent. Everything needs to have at least 3 because you have started at least 3. This one has 2. This one you have again 5. That's a lot, but you can get away with it. However, you can only have 90 total items, including your category menu itself. So including these and all your drop downs can only total 90. More than that, it's going to kick you out and you're going to get the spinning wheel of death. So you want to make sure that you are doing that. The other thing Google doesn't like is having a repeat drop down. Okay. So right here, you only have brain food in here. You need to have another one under education. This will be where you can come in and create one about the teachers or create your own information about brain food and what it stands for. So you have performance blogging system here, and you have performance blogging system here. So you have the same one in 2 different categories. Google doesn't like it. Pick one category that you want to market that in and specify it and take it out of the other one. Okay. Okay, health and fitness. We all get carried away on this one because there's so much to put in here. Again, you don't want this many if you can help it at all, especially when you only have 2 and some. So you want a minimum of 3, maximum of 5 to get your 90. You can always come in here, and this is the key to keeping your website fresh and inviting. Everything can be added to your category menu. So in your category page, you can add little blurbs of every page you create, which you've done here, that they can go to. It doesn't have to be in the drop down. However, in your drop down, you can switch out what's here based on what's trending. So you don't need every page in your drop down. So if trending right now is weight loss and appetite control and fitness, then you should have 3 to 4 drop downs that's literally targeted to weight loss, health and fitness, and whatever else is trending, EMF. So some of these things right now, youth getting younger, looking younger is not a trend. Starting now until probably mid-March, it's going to be weight loss and getting healthy. Okay. And you're going to have your EMF. So some of these things, like you have brain food and biohacking, that's literally about the same thing. So I wouldn't put both of those. I'd put one and then maybe a couple of months down the road, come in and freshen up your site, take one out and substitute it for the other one. You're not losing it off your page because they can come here and see it anyway. But these are highlighted in key pages that you want them to be able to focus on and see immediately when they come to your site without having to search your category. So that's why I say always have the most relevant topics and the trending topics in your drop down and keep it fresh. You can switch it up. That's why you want your website to have as many pages and relevant topics on the same thing or same product, stated different ways depending on what the market is doing, so that you can come and switch them out from time to time with different things. Does that make sense? And this is for everybody. It's not just for Riley. Hold on a minute. All right. So, but the one thing that Google will not like is, like I said, you got 5 to 7 in some, 2 and 1 in some. And so we want to make sure that we even it out a little bit. Okay. Again, these things right here that we don't have a lot of products to market, then talk about what excites you, like sports. Talk about sports. Talk about the different types of sports that you have. And then if we have a product that you can relate to sports, then you can. So like my grandkids are in baseball, softball, and basketball, soccer. So those are things, football. So those are things I can talk about under sports. And then, yes, they're kids, but my husband also plays. He also plays senior league softball. And, you know, there, when I say senior league, it's 55 and above. Guess what? They don't move as fast. They have aches and pains. So guess what I can talk about? I can talk about brain that they can use to play to help keep them focused and alert, to give them that energy that they need to get through the game. But my whole focus will be about the sport itself. So again, just because we have a category doesn't necessarily mean we always have to have a product that's exclusively just for that category. We can talk about the issue and then come back and say, oh, we have something that can help with what comes about, sort of like an after effect. Same thing with travel. Yes, we have Savings Highway Global that has a travel program in it. But again, in travel, we're not necessarily promoting Savings Highway Global exclusively. Pinpoint places that you've been, talk about sites and things like Mr. Bill, he talked about, you know, his vacation and up in the mountains, different places he likes to go there with his family. Talk about that. Show your pictures that you have taken on your personal trips. Google likes that too. Unique images that exclusively to you and you don't have to show your family if you don't want to. If you're like me, I just take shots of views from the mountaintop, you know, sitting in my car, from the airplane, shots of the clouds. You know, when I was going to Hawaii, I took pictures outside the plane of what the ocean looked like at certain altitudes. When I was traveling from Texas to Los Angeles and went across, you know, Phoenix and Arizona and saw the mountains, you know, white capped snow mountains here in June. And I was like, why? But from a plane, it looks different. You can see the flats, you can see the mountains, you can see the rivers and the valleys. So things like that you can use to take and talk about the actual place you visit. And then in an afterthought, say, oh, if you want to experience this at a discount, then give your link to your Savings Highway Global or to the page that explains how Savings Highway Global works. So not everything that we have is going to be directly linked to a product. You're going to have to tell your story, give them some information, some relative information that they're wanting, and then come back and pinpoint the ad or the product that you really want to market, which could be Savings Highway Global. It could be Bella Vita. It could be, you know, PBS. It could be the Brain Food Academy. It could be wine, you know, but tell your story first. Don't always try to sell. You don't want your website to be all salesy. Okay. You want your website to be marketable and relevant. And that's the one thing Google wants is they want it relevant. They want to know, number one, do you have something that interests the public? Is what you're saying valuable to the person coming to read it? Are they going to get some information, some insight, some clues, some helps, some tips from your site, or are they just going to be sold to? Now, that's not to say you're not going to have pages that are salesy. You're going to have a few of those, but you don't want your whole site that way. Now, me, I'm a tech person, but I don't want my whole website techy because it's not going to be relevant. It's not going to relate to the masses. But that's not to say I'm not going to have pages in there that talk tech. I'm going to have pages that pinpoint the benefits. It's going to have the medical jargon in there. It's going to have the chemical analysis and breakdown in there. But that's going to relate to a certain genre of people. And when I market that page, I will market it to those people so that when they come to my site, they will read that and understand it in their language. But then they will see this and say, well, let's see what else she's got in there. And then they'll come and read my stories. But they came in there because I related to them on a tech side. So with your site, again, here you have one picture, you have two pictures, and then you have a third picture. Good. The other thing Google wants to see is they want to see, don't put things in the middle because that's prime time, prime space for them. Is you want to make sure that you have that right there. And the one thing I'm suggesting, and Char, this is up to you, until he gets the PBS Vortex, I would get him under Response Magic to at least get him that code right there. He can get the free account. I know they're not promoting it, but it's a good start that he can use until he gets the Vortex. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's
Yeah,
the
good
one.
idea.
Yeah. And we can go over that next week. What's next week? No. Yes. No.
Too close to Christmas.
Yes. No, we will not have training next week. That's what I was thinking. I was like, wait a minute. No, I'll still
Well,
be gone.
maybe.
We'll see. We'll ask and see who's around, and we can jump on. But yes, the one things that I do want you to do is like some of these that have 4 or 5, try to even them out. Sure, I know you work with him quite a lot. So go through and anything that's a duplicate, remove it out of one and leave it in another. Find which is the most relevant one for him to do. And then try to even out some of these that only have 1 or 2 drop downs and make them a little bit more uniform to have 3 to 4. The ones you don't need is like the home, affiliate disclosure, and contact. You don't need drop downs because these are literally uh, legal information. So um,
Just to be aware, that's the way that Roy sends out the template, but we need to adjust it a bit because he does put a lot under health and fitness.
yeah,
Now, I found a way, I actually made a new category of wellness and nutrition.
I did too.
So down the road, maybe after you get comfortable of doing this, you can add a category, but we don't recommend that right away.
No. And I always tell people wait till after you get Google AdSense, if at all possible, then you can go in. But if you have a lot of topics or a lot of pages that you've written on a specific topic that really doesn't fit in any of the categories that we have, get with your instructor because they can show you how to go in and create a correct category page that you can set that up and use it instead of having all those floating pages. But you want to make sure you do that after you understand how to use your website, that you have a good grasp on creating pages and what's relevant and what's not, and get with your instructor so that they can sit down with you and show you how to create these category pages that is relevant. Because we want to make sure that you're not creating information in here that really is relevant to or related to a topic that's already there. You just need a subcategory to it. So,
I did that with my recipe page. I had so many recipes that
yeah.
I made them all floaters, but I put the category as homemade cooking or
Mm-hmm.
homemade recipes on my cooking category. And
Yep.
then I put all the links on my category page with, a little summary, but
Yep.
they're all floaters. They're not on my menu. So it
Yep.
has a way for people to go in and click on them and get those floaters.
Exactly. And that's what you want. Like you said, Char does a lot of cooking. I have a lot of cooking. I've actually started doing a lot of crafts and home therapy remedies and things like that. I have a lot of that in draft, testing some things out. So I actually made my first hand sanitizer yesterday, Char. You'll be so proud of me.
So many aloe plants. I got hundreds of little kitty cats, little babies. I don't know what to do with them. I
So,
throw them away and they grow in the ground. I have so
so
many pots. I repotted a ton of them. But yeah, that's how you make your own
yeah,
aloe and
yeah. So
hand
it's
sanitizer.
it's because I've just seen so much stuff and we used to do things like that growing up. My grandma always made stuff, so and then with times changing, everything's become so commercial that everything that you use has some kind of side effects or drawbacks. And I was just like, you know what, I'm tired of breaking out, I'm tired of doing this. I'm just going to go back to old homeschool remedies that I grew up with and just go from there. So those are things that you want to do. I don't have a category for you yet, but I have stuff in draft I'm working on. But there's things that we have already here that we can use. It could go under health and wellness. It could go under health and fitness and be a you know side category. So these are things that you want to make sure. Same thing with mobile apps and services. Um, we do have still have the in persona, the bracelet or the watch. Um, you can do pull out the apps for Savings Highway Global that we have in there. You can talk about those, which is the what is it? The Upside app, the SoFi app for banking. They do have investments now that with that SoFi. Um, so you have those different one. I think there's like 5 or 6 of them in there. You can link those here under mobile apps and services. Um, and then send them to your Savings Highway Global page as your internal link, and then your external link will be your direct link to that company for them to sign up through. So again, there's several different ways that you can use these programs that we already have. You just have to make sure that you're writing about them. So again, this healthy lifestyle, again, that is something that you want to make sure that you have things in there. Um, Again, the health and fitness is going to be one of those categories that we have tons of stuff we can put in there. But again, you don't want to bombard one specific category and then have less contact in others. That is not something Google likes. So we want to be very conscious of that. Also, your images. You want to make sure that you have appropriate images for your pages. And if you come across, for those of you that are modifying and you come across the page and you don't like an image that's on that page, guess what? You can remove it and put your own image. This is one image I would probably make a little bit smaller. Um, there you go. And see, like this, Google likes that, but make sure that it covers the whole topic. These little break lines, it needs to cover the whole area right here. Make this a little bit smaller. Perfect. Good job. Yep, there you go. So again, these are just things. Again, you want to make sure that this covers the whole area. So the break, so that it looks more professional, so that they can see that it covers the whole thing. So that's good. Again, make sure that your font is all the same in all your pages. But other than that, you go off to a good start. So let's see what we got here in the comments. All right, how to take things off your drop down menu. Okay, yeah. So yes, your category, your all things page does let me get everybody else. So Char put her recipes in there. So your category page does need to match, or your all things page does need to match your category menu, your category page of the same title. However, if you don't have Google AdSense, they can't have the exact same wording or the exact same images because Google considers that a duplicate and therefore not relevant. Okay, James. So to answer your question, um, is that yes, you do want your all things pages. They have to literally, let me go back to share screen. So in your all things pages, like Riley has here, the all things, so you have your main arts and entertainment, okay? Again, we need to go in here and make sure that this is all concise. If this is your headline, then this also needs to be part of that, just like this, okay? Literally, this is your directory for this category. So when you go to your all things, it is also a directory. And this looks exactly alike. And if Google comes in here and looks at this, they're going to say, you have a duplicate page. Even though your title is a little different, your wording and your setup is exactly the same. So what you have to do is this wording, even though you can still have the same titles right here, but the wording in here has to be different a little bit if you don't have Google AdSense. Same thing with the image. If this is the image on Wine Magic for your all things page, then your arts and entertainment page should not have the same image. Google, even though it is your own unique content, Google does not want duplicate pages in your system. They say it's false advertising, that you don't have original content because you basically duplicated the same page over again in your website to make it look like you got more than you actually have. But the reason that we have the all things pages is because anybody on social media or anybody on a device other than a computer, when they pull up your website, they see the drop down menu on your phone or any mobile device. However, they can't click the category menu. They can only click the drop downs. So even though they see arts and entertainment, beauty and cosmetics and all this on a mobile device, they can't click it. They can only click the drop downs. So what we were doing was we were losing traffic for potential pages because people couldn't see this. All our category menu and every page that we have, they only saw the 4 or 5 drop downs that we had. So Roy said, create a drop down of the exact same information and call it all things. The only problem with that was when people were doing it, they were getting denied by Google saying you had duplicate content. It was not original because these two were exactly the same. So you want to add information here just like you do to your category, but it has to be altered a little. It cannot be exactly the same. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to
Just to give you my piece of advice is you want to touch every page anyway. That's the sure way to get Google AdSense is to change every one of your pages. Period.
period.
Make it relevant to you.
Yep. Yep. And that's the only reason we have the all things pages, is because that, and like I said, I don't have them on all of my categories, and the ones I do have are not the same. I don't even have all of my links on all of my pages. I just haven't had time to do it. So again, these are things that even me as an instructor, as an MSI, I fall down on because I create so much that I sometimes forget to go back and add it to my category menu, especially my all things. Sometimes I'll add it to the all things and not add it to the actual category. Sometimes I'll add it to the category and not add it to the all things. So I have to get better at that. But again, that is just something that you as a person has to literally, mind your business, and do what needs to be done. So I'm going to show you how to go in and delete something from your menu. Now, when you delete something from your menu, it does not delete it from your website. You actually have to go into your website, delete it, or go into your menu structure, not your menu structure, but your pages, and delete it from there. So if you come here to your topic and
I
come
think she
down,
was just asking about removing it from the menu,
yeah.
not deleting the page.
So you're going to come here to your menu options. Okay. And as you can see, you have all your menus, or everything that is in your menu. You have your actual menu structure and setup. So if you wanted to go in here and actually remove a page, so let me go in here and say, so I got to go in and add something to here. So let me find something that I want to, let's go and do, no, no, no. I'm going to take this one out and I'll come back and add it back later. So I don't even think most people have this anymore, but I still have it on mine. So you're just going to come here where it says page. You're going to hit drop down. And as you can see right here, it just says remove. You're going to click remove. It's going to take it out. And then you hit save menu. And then it'll be gone. It'll be gone from your menu, but it'll still be a floating page in your system. So people can still find it if they look it up, or you have the link posted out there, they can find it, but it's not going to be on your drop down anymore. The same thing, I've had people come in and remove the category. Well, once you move the category, everything that's underneath the category all of a sudden now becomes its own category. So you want to make sure that if you're going to remove a category, that you remove everything underneath it first, and then remove the actual category itself. Okay, because if I remove e-business and marketing, then all of these will become a category because they were under here and they don't know what to do with themselves. So now all of a sudden they become their own category. So if you wanted to remove a category and everything in it, remove the drop downs first and then come back and remove the category. Does that answer your question? Y'all can unmute if I forgot who asked that.
But you don't really want to remove a category. I'm just saying.
No, you don't want to
yet.
remove a category. That's why I said I still have ebooks and crafts, the new pages, websites, they don't have this anymore. They don't have this category anymore. I still have it because I still have stuff in there. And this is where I'm going to be putting my my stuff that I'm doing now is I'm going to be creating pages, or I've started creating pages on putting my crafts in here. So, but that's how you do it.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Riley just messaged me that his chat GPT memory is full. How is that possible? I've never heard of chat being full.
I haven't either.
I've never had a problem with it. And I use it a lot too.
I don't know. Because you see, I've been using mine for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be what all he's putting in there. So if
Riley,
he's,
do you save? Do you save? I mean, it automatically saves them anyway, doesn't it?
yeah,
But, huh.
Yeah, I don't know. So the only thing I could think of, Riley, is if you've saved everything that you have in here, go back and start removing things that you don't know. Because see, I've been using mine since 2023, all through 2024, and it's not full. But I haven't heard unless they're trying to get him to buy. But again,
That
I would
could be.
just, yeah. So that's what I would
Okay.
say, Riley, is the older stuff. If you already have it saved somewhere in your Google Docs, just go ahead and start deleting and see if that will clear it up, or open up a new chat and see if that it could be make sure you are
Ah,
opening
I
up
bet
a
he's
new
not.
chat and not
Yeah.
continuing on the same chat.
So you always have to click on that little pencil up there at the
Yes,
top left.
you always have to
You
go to
always
new
start with a
chat.
new one. Yeah, I
That
bet
could
that's it.
be it. If you are continuing on the same chat message right here, then yeah, you could fill that one up. So you always have to start with new chat so that it knows that you're starting something new. So go through and see how many tabs you have. If you only have one, then that means you are continuing on the same chat, and that could fill it up. So you have to go to create a new chat. Anytime you want something new, hit create new chat so that you can have a new topic. Also, when you do that, when you come back to it and say, okay, I want to expand on this, you just say read information above and let's create something new using this same string or something to that nature. And you can continue creating. That's why I don't erase any of these, because I will come in here and say, okay, now that we've done that and I've had time to think, I want to try it this way. And it picks up where I left off. So it's a good thing to use this, but that's why you always want to make sure that you do open in a new chat instead of just continuing with that string, because then you have to go and start pinpointing things and start pulling things out to continue creating along those same contents. Okay. All right. So it is, 9:10. Um, let's see. All right, I think that's it, guys. I thank everybody for coming. And but I do have a page if you want to check my site on how to get Google AdSense. I know Stacy sent out a form that Estelle posted in our chat as well, that she has done and come up with on how to get Google AdSense. So it's fairly easy if you follow the instructions to get Google AdSense. I have had a lot of people say, well, I've tried 5 or 6 times and haven't gotten it. And I go back and read and look. And there's a lot of stuff. It's still very broken in their content. When I say it's broken in their content, it means the voice is not the same. It's not fluid throughout. There's still Rory voice and their voice, and it doesn't mesh. So you want to make sure your whole site is yours. Take ownership and control of it. So from page 1 to the last page you've written, it all sounds in the same text or content or voice. All right. You don't want to have anything in there that is not cohesive to your way of thinking. And Google and those bots can pick up on it. So you want to make sure your website and you take ownership of it. That includes the name, that includes the titles, that includes the subtitles, that includes pictures. So ultimately, everything in your site should be unique to you and want how you perceive your site, and you want other people to perceive it. Okay. Um, if there's things in there that you read, and this is how I tell all my students, you get a page, a brand new page, you read it, and then you write down things that you like about that page. You write the main idea of that page, and then if you can't overwrite what's there, it gets in your way, delete the whole page except for the title and rewrite it based on your notes and what you remember of it, and create it all from scratch. That's what I had Emilio do because the wording just kept getting in his way. Trying to rewrite paragraph to paragraph. So I still use a notebook. I still use pen and paper. And that's how I did mine. I didn't do paragraph to paragraph. I read the page. I wrote down what I liked. I wrote down topics and headlines, and then I went in and deleted everything and wrote it. And when I finished writing it, I went back and changed the title to what I needed it to be related on what I said. So you just have to find your unique style. The ultimate goal is keep the general idea of the page, but write it from your point of view. That's how every page should be done.
Or you'll end up doing your whole site over like both Sheila and I did. And you don't want to do that.
I did mine 3 times in 2 weeks. I literally did my whole, and that's when we had 120 pages to do.
Yeah.
But it's, people's like, how'd you do that? At the time, I literally had quit my job and I was doing this. And I did it in 2 weeks, 3 times in 2 weeks. And on the 4th week, I applied for Google AdSense and got it. So I had but I created a page and advertised, created a page and advertised, created a page and advertised. That's how I did it. But people always ask, how'd you get the traffic? Created a page and advertised, created a page and advertised. I didn't wait until I finished my whole site and then tried to advertise. If you know your site's perfect and you love it, and this is how you know, people say, how do you know when you're ready for Google AdSense? When you can tell people when they ask you what you do, you can say, I'm a content creator or an internet marketer via website. Then you know you're proud of your site and it's ready for anybody to view. If you can't go to anybody and they ask you, well, what are you doing now? And you say, well, I'm trying this new thing, your site's not ready because you're not proud of it and you're not confident in it. Anybody ask me, what do you do? I'm a content creator for various companies. Well, what's your site? Do you have a website? Yep, here it is. And I don't tell them 5e95.com because they look at me going, what? I tell them, search Shop with MamaChief because that's the title of my website. And they're like, oh, they'll pull it up and it's everywhere. I even tell them hashtag Shop with MamaChief and they'll hashtag Shop with MamaChief. Guess what? My website is a hashtag. I've created that hashtag unique to my website. So every time I market, I use that hashtag. I've created a page that is hashtag Shop with MamaChief. You need to brand yourself and your website. If your website name is this long and you yourself have trouble saying it, nobody else is going to remember it. Is that not right, Shar?
Yep. So when you advertise, always put a hashtag on there if you can, and put the hashtag as your business name,
Yep.
your website name.
Your website name. Your name, not your URL. Because we don't talk about our URL. People don't understand that. People understand names and titles. And I've been creating mine for 7 years. And I had a student, I told her, I said, go Google my website. And she said, it's showing up everywhere. Yep. Because anytime I advertise, I use my hashtag. And even in my pages, even in my advertising, I say, check out Shop with MamaChief. I use my name. I brand my website. I brand myself. Why? Because I'm proud of my website. If you are not branding yourself and you're afraid of telling people what you do, your website's not ready to apply for Google AdSense because you are not proud of it. You have not taken ownership of it. You don't know for sure if it's yours or not. I don't care who you are. I'll tell you in a minute. I don't even, and Roy be the first one to tell you, I don't go to Roy's for anything. I send my students to my website.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if I'm going to be teaching them, I want them to be able to understand what I'm saying. And it's hard to explain how Roy says things when I'm trying to put it in my terms and explain it to you that way. So I'll use my site. Oh, here's the site. Here's the page.
You've got everything you need on your site now. You've got the Keystone video, you've got it all. You don't need to send them to Roy's site.
No. So that's what you want, guys, and you need to think about that for a lot of you. When you're like, I'm not sure, is my site ready? Your site will be ready when you can say, yep, my site's ready. Anybody, I will defend it to anybody. And I know there's a lot of you here that you can't say that. You will not defend your website as your business. When you can defend your website as your business and be proud of it and tell anybody the name of it and have them search for it, you're not ready. Take ownership of your website, make it yours, and be proud of it. And market yourself, brand yourself. In every ad you create, you need to tell them somewhere at the beginning or the end, the middle, somewhere, check out more by visiting my site, Shop with MamaChief, or whatever your site is. And some of you are like, well, I don't really like the title of my website. Change it. It's not too late to change it to something that you like. And I hate that paste and copy that whatever that's in there. People don't relate to that.
No, it's the first thing I have my students change.
Don't do that. You want your site to be yours. If you know if somebody asked you what that is and you can't explain it to them, it's not your site. Your whole site, from the title to the last line in the last page, should be all yours. Mine is Shop with MamaChief, your one-stop shopping experience. Been that way since day one. No, it ain't, since the third time I changed it. Because I put that last little line in there. I was like, this is their one stop. They should be able to come to my site, not have to go anywhere else for anything else. And I'm still looking for a place that I can sell toilet paper. As soon as I get that on my site, I'm done. I've fulfilled what my website says. And I might just put an Amazon link in there because Amazon's got toilet paper. I'm just saying.
So I'm gonna throw something out here that you're not gonna hear, but there's other affiliates out there. So go if you have a product like toilet paper, go out there. I'm not saying toilet paper, I'm just bringing that up because you just said it. Go find it. Search for it on the web and find a site that looks nice and scroll to the bottom. And if it says become an affiliate, find out. You can get your own affiliates.
Yeah.
Sign up for it and you can advertise that because there's a lot we don't have right now. So that's what I did.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff out there.
There's a lot of stuff out there, guys. So as long as we are marketers. We are here to market our stuff. And like I said, we're getting ready to lose 17 items. I think it is 12 to 17 items.
Well, it used to be. I think it's only like 10 now, but
yeah, but I mean, we don't have anything to replace that. Like I said, I have over 70 pages dedicated to those items. I don't want to lose that traffic. So I'm talking with them to say, hey, do you have an affiliate program? If not, I'm just going to use their direct link. I don't care if I don't get paid. I want the traffic to continue coming to my site so Google AdSense will continue to pay me. I want those clicks. I want people to come and view because guess what? If more people keep coming to my sites without me having a link and the other company says, where did you find this? Where did you find us? And they've said, Shop with MamaChief's website. Then they will come to me, which I have had companies come to me. I have several affiliates that companies have come to me because I did a backlink to them and have so much traffic from my site going to them that they came to me and said, hey, we have a lot of people saying they found us through you. We can give you an affiliate link. And they did. So you might not get paid up front for these links, but if you generate enough traffic for them, they will come to you. And that's what you want. Now, you're not going to hear that on regular training because that's not the way the norm is. That's not how this system's set up.
Sheila and
But
I are not normal, okay?
we are not. We
Sorry.
and Roy be the first one to tell you, I buck the system sometimes. And this is one of those times because I love the products that is in RAM, just about all of them. And some of them do have affiliate links, some of them don't. I'm going to use their links. I won the contest for Miele. They use my page for advertising for gender neutral products. So why do I want to lose that traffic when they're using my page for advertising? So yeah, I mean, they might quit, but still they got it out there somewhere. So I still want them to be able to come to my site to see their product. So again, these are things that you as a business person, as a business owner, has to make that decision. Are you going to follow the crowd or are you going to do what's best for your business? If you're like me and got almost 600 pages and it's going to take you a month or two to find all those links and try to put oops page in there. That is not something I want to do.
Me either.
So, yeah, that might be one page I probably will not be writing. So, again,
I either break the link or send it somewhere else too.
yeah. So again, guys, these are things that you have to be looking for and do. Is, as a business owner, you have to do what's best for your business. And sometimes that might be doing a backlink. But if you're fairly new and you don't have those pages, you don't have to worry about it. Or you haven't even started modifying or editing those pages like Stacy was talking about, then that is something that you can just go in and get rid of. I never trash pages because that's
Ever.
content that we might be able to utilize at a later date. And then you got to go back and recreate it. Just
It's
put it
got
in
history
draft.
on it. You don't want to delete it. You can
No,
repurpose it for another similar category,
exactly.
another similar item.
Exactly. So that is one thing I've never done is trashed a page. I will draft it and like Shar said, repurpose it because you never know what you might find as a marketer or what Roy might find later on down the road that we can use that same lingo and just modify it to the new product without a lot of work to do. You want to work smart, okay? Work hard, but work smart.
Do
And to
not put it in
me,
draft.
yeah,
Don't draft.
yeah.
You
And
lose your history.
you lose your history, you lose your marketing share. So if you've marketed a page like with me and my Miele products, the wine products, the popcorn and all that stuff, if you've marketed it and you put it in draft and people look for it and they can't find it, they think you've closed. They think your shop's gone. So you lose that marketing share. Leave the page out there and change it to where it's more of an information page or use the backlink. Get a direct link to that store and put it in there. At least you still retain your market share. You've retained the place that you've worked yourself for that site, for that share of the market space, and you don't lose it. Because once you put it in draft and leave it, then somebody else is going to take your spot and you got to work your way to get back on there. So if you're on page 2 and 3 and you draft that page, you're no longer on page 2 and 3. You're gone from that market space. So then when you come back with the relevant product or a product similar, you got to work your way back up because you lost all that market share. So, like Shar said, repurpose it, take the links out, rewrite it to be information, or just use the direct link to that company until we find something to go in there. Or
Okay.
do like I do, just mark it straight for that company. And then when you uh, get enough views that that company is asking, hey, we see that you're sending a lot of customers our way. Let's work on a partnership. Then you know your site, hey, I've made it. I got companies looking at me because my site's getting enough activity that they're making profit off of my site. So sometimes it's worth advertising for somebody else in the long run. Okay. So that's my soapbox for today. I don't get rid of nothing.
Me
and I do
either.
and I do my best to try and develop relationships with some of these companies that I
Don't
already
even
know.
get her started on her shoes. She's got hundreds of shoes.
I think it's
It's just-
I've decreased. I did. I once I got to 470, I quit. I said I haven't bought a pair of shoes in about 6 months.
Hey Sheila,
Yes.
um, I know we're going to talk tomorrow, but is there a list of these links that are going to be the oops links?
Um, the Oops link is going to be on all the pages that's from Cash Network Direct. That's what we're going to be linking those to, that Oops page. So anything like the protein popcorn, the miel, the scarves, the book, the uh, what was those?
beef, all that.
Yeah, all of that stuff that's in Cash Network Direct. Any page that you've created for those, you're going to have the link for your Oops page.
What is the link for the oops page?
You have to create one. You have to
Uh,
literally create the
m-
Oops page.
my own link. We can go over that tomorrow.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep. All righty.
Yeah, thanks, Sheila.
You're welcome. So I'll see you tomorrow at 11.
All
And then the
right.
rest of you guys, as soon as this recording's up, I'll post it on Facebook, not Facebook, but YouTube, and then I'll get the link out for you guys. Okay, because we are recording. I'll have to edit some of it out.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.